Hey, what is up, everybody? This is Stevie Breach coming to you here today as we're talking about tomorrow's big Monday Night Raw show coming to you live, January 9th, coming to you live from New Orleans in the Smoothie King Arena. I honestly have been lucky enough to be into the Smoothie King Arena once. I went to the WWE Hall of Fame WrestleMania 30 weekend. I went to Monday Night Raw there during WrestleMania 30 weekend. Honestly, they're trying to make this one of the biggest Monday Night Raws that they've had in a long time for the reason of a lot of people are thinking WWE is going to be announcing WrestleMania 34 coming to New Orleans on Tuesday in a press conference that'll be held. I can remember the WrestleMania 30 press conference where they announced it. They streamed it live on WWE.com. They honestly, treated it like somebody was winning the Super Bowl, and this was a big ordeal. They had The Rock there. At the time, he was WWE champion. They were making it seem like The Rock was going to have a match. Of course, The Rock did not wrestle at WrestleMania 30, but he did make an appearance coming out with Hulk Hogan and Stone Cold Steve Austin. It's WrestleMania, so honestly, anything can honestly happen. After a hiatus of not having a Rock match for a few years, The Rock did have a match that only lasted 2 to 3 seconds, possibly beating King Kong Bundy's record. I don't know if they were blowing that out of the water. I still haven't watched WrestleMania 32 back, but The Rock beat Eric Rowan in that match that brought out John Cena to help fend off the Wyatts. But tomorrow's Monday Night Raw I thought would be built up around the United States Handicap Championship match, but they are treating it as if it's going to be worth $1 million with Roman Reigns defending his championship 2-on-1. But they're really building up the fact that Undertaker and Shawn Michaels are going to be making appearances on Raw. No word on what those are going to be. WWE.com is very faint on what they're trying to do with this. Honestly, I think they're bringing them in for the press conference that's going to be happening on Tuesday. But, why they're there, why not use them on Monday Night Raw, trying to build up some sort of a rating and get some buzz around the Royal Rumble for the show. Definitely, if you've been watching my videos, you can tell that Undertaker is a big part of my plans for WrestleMania 33, hopefully hyping up John Cena beating AJ Styles over on SmackDown for the WWE World Heavyweight Championship, then taking the championship to WrestleMania. Whether that means Undertaker wins the Royal Rumble and declares his shot at John Cena, or if somebody from Monday Night Raw wins the Royal Rumble, which then would set up just them making the match out of thin air, because it's a match that everyone's been waiting for, honestly, for years and years and years. Shawn Michaels, when it comes down to it, I don't think there's a great chance of him wrestling in the Royal Rumble, but the last few years, it's been, sort of rumored that, Vince really wants to get Shawn Michaels any way possible. We saw him come out at WrestleMania 32 with Mick Foley and Stone Cold Steve Austin. He got into the ring, he wore his tights, he delivered a super kick, he drank a couple beers with Stone Cold Steve Austin, and celebrated with a New Day. Anything could happen. It could happen. I don't think it's going to happen, but it's not really wrestling a real match. So it's not Shawn coming out of retirement. It's not Shawn breaking the promise that he made to Ric Flair. It's just coming out, getting a pop, maybe delivering a super kick. If they really could do anything with it, it could be just sort of going after Kane, because Kane broke his record of most eliminations in Royal Rumble history. Maybe that's something that they could do with it. They've been having people left and right declare for the Royal Rumble match itself. Honestly, I think that they could be doing a whole lot more of that. Last week, I believe Titus O'Neil, as well as the New Day, declared themselves ready for the Royal Rumble. I know on SmackDown, Baron Corbin was in. So there are a few names, so a few numbers that need to be there. There are always going to be a few surprise entrance when it comes down to it, but definitely I'm guessing you got to find a way for Seth Rollins to grab a number. We can all cross our fingers and pray that Triple H declares himself for the Royal Rumble, because of the fact he won last year. He would have a great chance of getting himself ready for this year's. Then when you get down to it, will Bayley dethrone Charlotte Flair? Honestly, no. I don't know why we're going to hype about it, but someday Bayley will be champion, but she's not beating Charlotte now. Is Neville our next WWE Cruiserweight champion? Honestly, yes. I don't really care about the Cruiserweights all that much, although I do secretly deep down root for Cedric Alexander and cheer for his Nomar Dar and Alicia Fox stuff backstage. So that is going to be the Monday Night Raw 5-point preview. As always, we will be talking about a few more of these angles that are going to be going down on Monday Night Raw in the upcoming videos, so definitely check those out, and I'll see you guys down the road. Hey, what is up, everybody? This is Stevie Breach coming to you here today as we're talking about WWE's Monday Night Raw coming right up around the corner. Obviously, every year when it comes down to the Royal Rumble, there's always those secret mystery guests that always come down to the Rumble. In the past years, we've seen the Road Dogg, Mick Foley, the WWE announce team. They always have surprises. Of course, last year was the debut in WWE of AJ Styles, which stole the show. Honestly, this year, one of the guys that I'm really looking forward to being a part of my WrestleMania plans that I need to be a big part of the Royal Rumble is The Undertaker. Last time we saw The Undertaker was only about a month ago before Survivor Series, where he showed up on SmackDown to threaten Team SmackDown, basically saying, you guys better not fuck this up and get realigned. He said that he was going to be around more often, and people took that as this is the return of The Undertaker. I was looking forward to him doing something with the TLC match at TLC between AJ Styles and Dean Ambrose, because of the fact that even though Randy Orton and Bray Wyatt were able to prevail for Team SmackDown, Dean Ambrose cost AJ Styles the match. AJ Styles cost Dean Ambrose the match. We had a mini Shield reunion with all of them beating up on AJ Styles, and I just thought that was not the way that Undertaker came to play. When it comes to WWE's Monday Night Raw, we already know the Undertaker is going to be there. They're already, flashing it out there. Undertaker comes to Monday Night Raw. And I know that a lot of that might have to play with the WrestleMania 34 announcement that's supposed to be taking place on Tuesday morning in a press conference where they announce the festivities are going to be returning. Yes, only after 4 years. And the Undertaker being a part of the press conference sort of highlights the fact that Undertaker is WrestleMania. This is the guy that comes out there and has the biggest match, even though he's not in a championship match. It's the match that people will be talking about, unless he's fighting against Bray Wyatt and it's WrestleMania 31 and he doesn't bother to show up on any Monday Night Raws or SmackDown leading up into the big show. Inside joke. Just kicking him in the pants a little bit right there. When it comes down to it, I think that Undertaker is going to be a part of WrestleMania. I think that he's going to be having the big match against John Cena. I know that this has been rumored for years and been asked for the fans. It's one of the biggest dream matches there is. I don't know. Undertaker said that he was a part of SmackDown. He said that it was his brand, but here he is on Monday Night Raw. I know it doesn't make any sense why he couldn't go to the press conference and then take a flight from the press conference to wherever SmackDown's being held to make his announcement there. But I think this announcement is basically saying that he's going to be a part of the Royal Rumble, and it's going to build, a big thing. We've already got Brock, we've already got Goldberg. They're treating that as if it's a singles match, even though they're 2 guys out of 30 guys that are going to be competing for the winner of the Royal Rumble. I don't think either guy has a chance to win it. And I know the Undertaker has won the Royal Rumble in the past when it came down to him and Shawn Michaels battling it out, which sort of set the stage. They battled for who was going to win. And the next year, they drew number 1 and number 2. And then from there, I think it built to them having a match at WrestleMania 25 because of their rivalry, which then having the career versus streak match at WrestleMania 26. And it'd be great. I think that is what they're doing, and I'm hoping that it comes down to that, because honestly, when it comes down to it, if they don't do that, I don't know what the fuck they're doing with Taker. The man, Shawn Michaels, is going to be on Monday Night Raw here, hyping up the Royal Rumble. Honestly, when it comes down to it, Shawn Michaels is the guy that a lot of people have been dying to see come back and return to WWE. There was a huge rumor this year that Shawn Michaels would be making his return to the Royal Rumble because of the fact that he was in the Alamo Dome in 1996, when they sold out the Alamo Dome and he defeated Psycho Sid. Stone Cold Steve Austin won the Royal Rumble. They were really, when they made that announcement, they were really hyping up the fact that, Shawn Michaels, Stone Cold Steve Austin, and all the history that happened in the Alamo Dome. WWE going back to the Alamo Dome, honestly, is a little bit of a risk. They just were in Texas last year in Dallas for WrestleMania. WrestleMania, honestly, in my mind, is a little bit more of a travel show. Royal Rumble is a show that I think a lot of fans want to go to. Last year, they had Triple H win the event. There was one way they were able to break the streak of Batista and Roman Reigns winning and the fans booing the actual winner of the Royal Rumble. They'd be going to WrestleMania as the lead babyface. I know that their names weren't Daniel Bryan. But honestly, in my mind, I thought that they were being a little bit over dramatic at the fact that they didn't want this guy to win, so they cried all the way home. Um, Shawn Michaels, I think, is a long shot to be a part of the Royal Rumble. Maybe he's just going there to talk about the history of the Royal Rumble because of the fact that Stone Cold Steve Austin probably didn't want to make the trip. Even though he's won the most Royal Rumbles with 3, Shawn Michaels has won 2, and the other people that have won 2, like Hulk Hogan, he ain't walking through that door just quite yet. But it's gonna be sooner than later someday. But Michaels can talk about the Alamo Dome. Michaels can talk about what it takes to win the Royal Rumble. He was the first guy to win from the #1 slot, even though it's been done a few times since then. But it's not a long shot to think that Shawn is going to be a part of the Royal Rumble. We saw Shawn wrestle at WrestleMania 32, even though it wasn't an official match. He came down when the League of Nations challenged any other 3-man group to come out, and the WWE legends Stone Cold Steve Austin, Shawn Michaels, and Mick Foley were able to come down, answer that challenge. Hit a few stunners, drink a couple beers. I believe there was a Sweet Chin Music and a Mandible Claw out there as well. But there's two differences between actually getting into a real match and, just coming out and doing some fun shit. Mick Foley has talked about the fact that he'll never have another match in WWE, but he doesn't rule out the fact that Vince might want him to go down to the ring and actually hit a Mandible Claw or, not really take a bump, but maybe get pushed, maybe get shoved, do something like that. The one thing that I think is a long shot for Shawn Michaels that he could do is that last year I believe we saw Kane or Corporate Kane, take the record of the most eliminations away. Maybe we could see the fact that Shawn Michaels wants that elimination back, and he wants to take his record with him. He's already a Hall of Famer, this, that, or the other, but maybe that meant something to him, and he wants to go after Kane and maybe be the guy to eliminate him. Kane ain't really got much going on. To sort of bring up some sort of a feud inside of the match between Kane and Shawn Michaels could honestly take a minute or two and honestly be something that people remember for a long time. So I'm not ruling it out, but I still think that Michaels is a long shot to appearing in the actual Royal Rumble. But he is going to be on Raw. Something's going to happen. So Kane's not doing anything. I don't even know what brand Kane is on, so maybe he will show up. No, he is. Kane is on SmackDown because they treated him like he was something a few months ago. He had that match on a pre-show against Luke Harper, and Randy Orton turned on him in order to do it. But Kane's a guy. He shows up on Raw. Who gives a shit? It's going to happen. Hey, what is up, everybody? Big match on WWE's Monday Night Raw coming up, which pits the United States champion Roman Reigns being forced to defend his championship against Chris Jericho and Kevin Owens in one handicap match. Honestly, in my mind, this has to smell the end of Roman Reigns' United States Championship. Honestly, in my mind, Roman won the championship from Rusev months and months ago and really hasn't done anything with it. When John Cena had the United States Championship, at least he was going out there and having open match challenges against people that weren't having a chance to have big matches on Monday Night Raw. It was almost like a confidence grabber for a lot of guys like Stardust or Zack Ryder to be able to get into the ring against John Cena, something that a lot of people probably thought was never going to happen, and be able to show that they could have a main event quality match. This was a really big helper to the mid-carder. I think the only person that it really did help elevate was Cesaro, was that somebody saw that this guy really was good and they could do something with it, but Roman has really just taken this title and pretty much like a chicken put it in his, or like a big bird, just put it in his nest and just sat on it for the past few months, not really doing anything really big with it to try and defend it and try and really mean it anything. So it gets to the point now that I think the championship is going to change hands on Monday Night Raw. Possibly, I think Chris Jericho winning, because it doesn't make any sense for Kevin Owens to be a double champion. And we all know that Roman is going to be winning the Universal Championship come the Royal Rumble. I think that honestly the one that they could really do is that after the Royal Rumble and they do the blow-off between Kevin Owens and Chris Jericho, they could at least fall back on Kevin Owens saying, well, at least we're the United States champion, and maybe there's enough strife between Jericho and Owens that Jericho, even though he started the whole thing, that at least if Kevin Owens is the Universal Champion and they're best friends, it's like he's Universal Champion. that Jericho could blow him up and just be like, you know what, man, this is my belt. I'm taking this. I'm defending it on my own. I don't need you anymore. And that's where they could build from there. Honestly, Owens and Jericho have cheated just about any way that they can to keep their championship. And I think a lot of people have grown tired of it. So them adding the them adding the United States Championship to their roster, I guess you can say, is a way to sort of bolster them up. But at the same time, we all know that they're going to fall. So it is what it is. Whatever it takes for Roman to get to the top, and then we can all boo him come Royal Rumble, and then scratch our heads and say, how were we going to fix this? I don't know what people expect. If they think that Vince is just going to release him and he's going to go wrestle for TNA, or we're never going to see him again. I think when it comes down to it is that Vince treats this guy like he treats John Cena and thinks that he is the golden lamb that's going to, be paying the books for the next couple of years, if not a whole bunch of them. But I don't know. I mean, people want to see him turn heel. We've already seen him turn heel, so I don't think that that's really an excuse. I mean, he was heel with the Shield for 2 years before turning babyface, but people want to see him as a single. So I don't know. It's just like what Paul Heyman was saying. People can bitch, moan, and complain when it comes down to it. This match is just to set up the Royal Rumble Championship match. It reminds me a lot of the build-up to WrestleMania 21, where Orlando Jordan beat John Cena for the United States Championship because they didn't want him to be a double champion. But we all knew that come WrestleMania that Cena was going to be beating JBL and taking the belt from the cabinet. So, Orlando Jordan becoming the United States champion didn't really help them out. It just, got some people to bite hook, line, and sinker that maybe Cena had lost it all. But I don't know. It is what it is. We're going to get to the Royal Rumble. The big highlight, I think, is going to be Shawn and Taker, and the big question marks is what is Shawn and Taker going to do?